Welcome to the Millionaires mini-series with your hosts Stephanie Keith and Stacy Failing, here to set you up with the most luxurious version of yourself. This podcast is filled with wealthy women vibes and a sneak peek into the millionaire's lifestyle. Whether you're inner millionaire's dreams of taking private jets to deserted islands or you prefer the lighter side of luxury, we have an opportunity for you that is priceless.
Come join us as we share with you all of our juicy money secrets, mindset hacks, and so much more. Money may not buy happiness, but it can provide you with an abundant life beyond your wildest dreams. So turn up the volume, adjust your crown, and get ready to embrace your inner millionaire-ess.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Millionaires Mindset Podcast. So it's spring, it's April, and this is the perfect time for new beginnings. I love to declutter and freshen up my house, my life. I look at my routines, my habits, and everything, and just kind of do a reset to get myself re-energized and make sure that I am on track for hitting my goals for the year. And you might be someone who is thinking, holy shit, it's April and I am no closer to the goals that I set in January than I was when I set them. And if that's you, like, don't beat yourself up about it. This is so common. The time flies by and it's really hard to get out of autopilot and fully into making your goals a reality. But this is a great time to do that little reset and take a look at what's holding you back. So Stacy and I decided to put together a free spring cleaning workshop where we're going to declutter our money beliefs to make room for limitless abundance. So a lot of times that's the block, is that you have all of these beliefs at the subconscious level that you might not even be aware that you're holding on to, but they are keeping you stuck in the same place financially. And that's why your bank account is always down to the same balance. And even when you come into some more money or you save, you still end up in the same place. It's because of those beliefs. And so we are going to clear those out and make room for the beliefs that are going to help you grow into a place of wealth and abundance for the rest of the year. So if you want to sign up for that, just head to the link in the show notes. We also have the link on our Instagram pages, and we hope to see you there. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun giveaways. So I look forward to seeing you join that. Now, today, Stacy and I are going to talk about investing in yourself because we found something interesting in sending out surveys to people who are wanting to change their life, wanting to change their finances and grow and have that transformation. But when we get to the question of how ready are you to invest in yourself, Stacy, what was it? Like 90% of people say they're not ready.
Yeah, that's what we found. And it's interesting that you can tell that the people that are filling out the surveys, when they're rating certain areas in their life where they want to make the change, and then they're so ready, they mark down that I'm like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, so ready to commit because they want that change so badly. And I've been there, and it's like, I will, aside from selling my soul, like we'll try everything to get to this next level, but I just feel so stuck and I don't know how to do that. But then when you get to the investment piece, like without a doubt, without even seeing a price tag, they automatically say, nope, not ready to invest. And there's a lot of limiting beliefs around that, but it's just as somebody as a coach, that wants to help people and has been in their shoes and knows that feeling. It just breaks my heart when you see somebody that's like, I want this change. I'm ready for this change, but I can't commit to that investment. And when you talked about, spring cleaning, literally, when I left my job, it was like this huge decluttering that happened inside of my own body, where I could feel that I was opening up more space to be able to receive and make time for all the things that I've been wanting and craving, and that change that I was seeking. now I was able to finally commit to that because I had released the clutter that was blocking me from being able to move forward. And so, I mean, I don't know if you can speak on this personally or if you've seen this too in your coaching space, but it just is heartbreaking when you see somebody that's so ready and they want to take that leap, but and who knows if they ever will because they have that fear mentality going into it. Like I said, without even seeing the price tag in front of it, they're already like, nope, not going to do it.
Right. So if you're one of those people that you tense up, your whole body tenses up and you're like, like as soon as you're about to spend a lot of money, like that was me big time. Like I had such a hard time spending money on myself. I would spend money on other people. I always had a lot of money in the bank. Like I've always been a saver and a hoarder with money, which goes back to my beliefs growing up that I was programmed with. But I would just get that like physical anxiety around spending money. And I had to learn the hard way because when I was in that situation in my job where I was so miserable, I was so miserable. I was having panic attacks. I was so miserable. I mean, waking up in the morning, I literally felt sick to my stomach every single day. And I have not felt sick to my stomach in like 3 years. It's so weird to think about. I haven't really stopped to think about that. But that is amazing because I used to feel that way all the time. And it was the anxiety from being in a situation that made me so miserable. Yet I wouldn't invest in myself to change. Like I would just think, oh, I can do it on my own. I can learn on my own. I can figure this out. Well, yeah, kind of. But you're also sending that signal to the universe that you're just not ready. And
Mhm.
I remember the lesson that I learned was there was a program that I knew I wanted. I mean, my intuition was like, this is it. You have to learn this. You need help from someone who has already been through it. But I just couldn't get past the price because I had never spent that amount of money on myself. And I didn't do it. And I watched the people that I knew in the space that went through that program over the next year totally transformed and were able to quit their jobs and were making a ton of money in their business. And I was still making zero income in my business, having the panic attacks, dealing with a boss that was trying to fire me. And finally, I realized like, well, if this is working for everyone that's invested, then to me, that's worth it. And what am I giving up by not investing? I'm giving up like everything, my health, my sanity by staying stuck in this situation that is physically manifesting in my body. Like it was terrible. And I realized right now I'm in my worst case scenario. So what do I have to lose by taking a chance on this? And I did it and it did change a lot in me because that's where I learned about all the beliefs that I was holding on to and learned how to regulate my nervous system and get over all of those money fears that were really keeping me stuck in a bad situation. And ever since then, I was like, I will never make that mistake again. Like, I understand the importance of it. And when you go and research anyone that you admire, whether it's an influencer, a entrepreneur, the people that are highly successful don't get there by chance. They make it happen because they pay to put themselves in the situations that are going to help them be successful, meaning they have the mentors and the coaches. They join the masterminds. They put themselves in situations where they're around other people who are at the next level and other people that are working on creating massive success. And when you put yourself in those situations, you have no choice but to up level with them. You energetically will start shifting by putting yourself in those situations. So when I realized that, that's when I went from being like so afraid to spend any amount of money on myself to now it is my most important expense. I look at it as like a business expense because I know that every dollar that I invest on myself will come back tenfold. So now that's my biggest, most important investment.
Yeah. And I can totally relate to what you were saying about like feeling like you're missing out and just watching everybody else succeed and scale. And you're like, oh, that could have been me. But, I didn't commit because, and it's legit, it is scary. Like you said, your body tenses up when you want to even think about hitting that submit button for the price. And you just, I've seen it so many times, and I see people that I aspire to have similar things, similar lifestyle. And it's all about, like, you can't wish for it. You do have to work for it. And with that does come an investment. And let me tell you this too, and I'm sure so many of you listening can relate to this, is how many like free webinars and things have you signed up for, and you had the intention or the interest in going because you're like, yeah, I'll make room for my calendar. And whether you do or you don't, there's a good chance that if you do show up, if you end up showing up, that you're not going to really be paying attention. You might be multitasking. You might hop off early because you're like, meh, I don't have skin in the game, so I'm not going to stick around. Could have been a very valuable information session for you to take something away, but you were just not committed because you didn't invest anything. So the flip side to that is when I haven't invested thousands of dollars into something, you bet your ass I'm going to rearrange my schedule. I'm going to find a sitter for the kids, and I'm going to sit down at every single one of those calls. Granted, things come up, but I am way more accountable when I have skin in the game. And I've seen also like the growth difference too. When I show up for something that I've paid for, that commitment, that accountability just helps grow the success and the energy. Because once you start to see that progress happening when you're in that space, everybody else is energetically aligned with you too. And you, like you said, you have no choice but to level up. So worst case scenario, you don't spend money and you're still in the same spot a year from now. And if you do invest, the worst case scenario is you're still going to be steps ahead of where you were, but maybe just not as far as you wanted to go. That doesn't mean that you can't get there, but at least now that you're closer to that than you were had you had not signed up to begin with.
Yeah, and that's what I love about our mastermind is it's not just like a program where you go and you just like watch some videos. Like it is full on an interactive coaching experience, and you interact with other people that are all manifesting money. And so, we had our first one in the beginning of the year. We're all still talking. The girls are all still talking. They're collaborating, and it's like this lifelong group now that you have every time you start freaking out about money or your business. You have people that get it that you can lean on. And that's what like I have loved to see so much, because I feel like we're not just giving people something and then, oh, they're on their own, here you go, like good luck. You have like this experience that carries on long after the mastermind ends. And it's so funny because when you're talking about those free webinars, I'm just thinking about all of the webinars that I've signed up for that I never showed up for. Or like if I did, I was like holding my baby in one hand, watching TV, like texting, like while the webinar is going on, completely not engaged whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Like when people invest, not just do you show up better, but everyone does. And so it's a different vibe. It's a different energy. And the energy is something that I wish we could put into words, but you just have to experience. Like it was fire, Stacey, wasn't it? Like we were feeling so freaking high vibe after those calls. We felt like we could do anything.
Everybody was like ramped up. That Thursdays were our favorite day. Like we were all so excited to hop on the call, and like we laughed, we cried, but the energy was just, it like carried us on through the rest of the week. And we couldn't wait to get back on the call the following Thursday, and share everything. And it was just, it is energy. And that's what's super cool about the work with manifestation is it is energy. And if you are just in this low vibe, like, meh, I can't invest, I don't want to do the work, that's the energy that you're going to receive. So things are going to be harder for you. You're not going to be attracting that life that you want to create for yourself. Instead, when you put yourself in the room with those other high vibe women that are doing and wanting the same things that you are, and learning from people that have gone through that, it just shifts your energy, and you you can't put a price tag on that, because you learn to be able to attract so easily that it's almost addicting, because when you start to see and feel what that is, you're like, I want more of that. And then you start to see the abundance come in. And it's just in you're right too. Like, we are creating a community. And that's what it is. You're up leveling your energy and it's like a shift that happens that you can move forward with over and over and over again. It's like, once you have that, it's not something that just goes away. And then when you step inside that room, you have now connected with these other women and formed a community and connection with women who are doing the same thing, that you can reach out to, that can hold you accountable on those days when you're feeling, less energetic. And Stephanie and I do it together all the time. Like, we'll text each other and be like, having a bad day. I need some inspiration, help me out. And it's just like, yep, let me pull you up out of this funk, because we all get there. So it's not this 24/7, just like exuding this high vibe energy. But let me tell you the difference that it has made by just putting myself in the room with other women who are looking to attract the same thing. And you don't get that energy anywhere else.
No, and that's the thing that I really don't see anywhere else. Like, trust me, like, I have invested in a lot of different programs once I got over that initial hump, and I still do. Like, I have a coach of my own now that I pay an outrageous amount of money for, because I know, again, that every dollar I invest in it comes back times 10. And it really does. I like having that support. And more than the support, just the vibe of someone who's at like multi-million dollars in her business. I just like want to be able to message her and like be in that vibe. And anyhow, like with the mastermind, something that I haven't seen in all these different programs that I've done is that like high level of support and energy that the people running the program pour into it. There's a lot of like replays and stuff like that, but Stacy and I are there. Like, we are going through it with you. We show up live with you. We're talking in between calls in our little chats. And it's not this thing where you're kind of like off on your own. Like, we're all collectively pouring our energy into it, and the vibe is unreal. And that's really what manifestation's about, right? It's not about the doing. It's not even about the strategy. That's such a small part of it. It's about the vibe. If you can get your energetic vibration in the right place, you will make money in the easiest way. Like, it just starts to flow, and things that never made sense before just start to make sense. And opportunities that have always been there that you never noticed are now all of a sudden like so apparent to you. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, why would I not have seen this earlier? Like, that's the power of putting yourself in that type of energy. And when you have a group all doing that, the energy is like way more powerful than going through it on your own. Like, it's amazing. And I think about even with you, Stacy, like, I remember last fall we were talking and you were just like, I'm ready. Like, I am just ready to invest and make big moves in my business. And I don't care how much it costs. Like, I'm just ready, and I'm going to leave my job. And here you are a few months later. You've left your job. You did it. You invested. You went all in. It was scary. There were lots of moments of doubt, but here you are. You did it. And just think back, like, what if you hadn't invested in yourself? Like, you'd probably still be in your job, don't you think?
Oh, 100%. I would still be there. And, I would be there and I would be feeling very low energy. I wouldn't be feeling fulfilled. And that's something that I wanted to talk about too, because we are notorious for pouring into everybody else. We give our energy to those that we care about, our job and our families. So think of this as like, you're not just investing in a mastermind. You're not just investing in that high vibe energy. You're not investing in a community. You're investing in your soul and refueling and giving back something so valuable to yourself. Because when you are just sitting there, your energy is drained because you're at work and you're pouring into all of those people. And then you come home and you have to pour into your family, which I know that most of us love and enjoy doing. But that's not to say that it depletes us at the end of the day. And then we have to go to bed and wake up and do it all over again. why not do something for yourself that gives you that energy back rather than always having to go on, 5%, looking for your charger throughout the day, grabbing your cups of coffee, doing what you got to do, skipping your workouts, eating like shit because it's easy. Like this goes back to the very basics of you got to take care of yourself first. And if you look at it that way, it's what the question I want to ask is just why not? Like, what do you have to lose other than having to go through that monotony day in and day out, feeling depleted, asking yourself, like, why? Watching everybody else surpass where you could have been had you just taken that scary little leap to get there, because those people aren't any different than you. They just took a chance.
Yeah. And the question that I always ask myself now is like, what am I losing out on by not investing? And usually the answer is being stuck in the same exact place a year from now that you are now. Like imagine, think about January felt like a split second ago and now it's April. Do you want the rest of the year to just fly by and it's December and you're stuck in the same place? Like that's the question that I always ask myself because that was the reality. I didn't do the scary, uncomfortable thing. I didn't make the investment. So I stayed in the same place. You can't expect different results by doing the same thing, right? So a lot of times we look at the cost of something, but we don't look at the cost of staying in the same
Mm-hmm.
situation. And that's really when big changes happen, when you can kind of connect those dots and make that realization.
And then what happens when you hear things like, but Steph, I'm safe and I'm comfortable where I am? For me, I just think, yeah, that might be true. You might be content with where you are in life, but is that where you stop? Like, is that where you call the shot? Like, here I am, I'm safe and comfortable, and this is where I'm always going to be, because that sounds sad,
Let
you
me
know?
tell you something. Being comfortable is the most dangerous place you can be because you have no motivation then to change and to up level. And I forget who said it. There's some famous person that would always say, if you're not growing, you're dying. And that
Mm,
always stuck with me because I'm like, this is life. Like we are meant to grow and learn and expand, and not just financially, but our consciousness and energetically. And that's what I'm always looking for. Like, I don't ever want to just be stuck in the status quo. For me, like, that's the end of it. That's the end of the game. That's the end of life. You come here to learn and to grow. And I think when we get stuck in these places where, like, oh, I'm pretty comfortable, the next thing you know, you blink and 10 years have gone by and you're like, what did I do with my life? And that was essentially my 20s. And I
yeah,
snapped out of it on my 30th birthday, thank God. But if you are in a situation where you feel super comfortable, maybe look at that and just say, like, okay, like, so is this just how my life is going to be? And am I okay with that? And I think there's always room to grow and expand and step off of autopilot and just start taking conscious control of your reality.
yeah. When you start saying things like, this is good enough, you're
Mhm.
really just limiting all of your potential and the opportunities that you could be passing up because you just stay safe.
Yep. Yeah. The best life you could possibly imagine is right there. I mean, it's already there. It's not like you have to attract it. It's already there. You just don't realize it. You're not aware of it yet. And you're settling. And we get stuck in our comfortable little safe um comfort zones, I guess you can say, but are they really safe? Are they really secure? Like I thought that I was in my safe little comfort zone, yet every year, well, not even every year, every 6 months, people were getting laid off from my company. Like I wasn't living a life that felt fulfilling. I was living for the weekends and the vacations. And was that really comfortable? No, not really. I mean, I told myself it was, but it really wasn't. And there's so much more, and it can get so good, so much better than you can even imagine if you just allow yourself to go there and want it and desire it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame around wanting the best possible life for yourself and your family.
Yeah, and absolutely. And that doesn't mean that when you step into the mastermind that, everybody wants to be that millionairess. It's just setting the expectation that you can have as much as you want when it comes to abundance. But we really help you break it down in a realistic way that shows you what you really need to be able to have that life that you want is a lot less than you think. And there's a lot of shifting of energy and beliefs that need to happen inside of that to create that. But the money is just that freedom that gives us the opportunities to create that life for ourselves. But that doesn't mean that everybody has the same vision for what a quote unquote millionairess looks like. And so if you're feeling like, oh, I'm not, the person that wants to drive around a Mercedes or live in this lavish mansion or, do all of those things, that's not what being a millionairess is all about. Being a millionairess is creating that life of freedom and being able to do the things that you want to do with the ease of not having to worry about the finances, to actually feel that security that you're looking for and that you think that you have with this, false sense of security in a job that is not guaranteed, or, in this life that you say is good enough. But is it really? Are you just saying that because it's safe and comfortable? Or are you saying that because there's some fear and you really have a whole different idea of what you would like your life to look like, but you just don't want to go after it?
Yeah, for me, being a millionairess was being able to be home with my kids instead of sending them to daycare, but also still being able to get my Starbucks and shop at Target. And that's really what it was. And then that happened, and now it's like, okay, well, I have that, but now being a millionaire to me is building generational wealth for my children, showing them what's possible in life and that they can do what they love and be abundant. And so it really isn't about the money. And I think that's the realization everyone has in this mastermind, is that it's not the money, it's what the money leads you to. Money's just the tool that helps you get to where you want to be. And it can be as grand as you want, and it can shift over time, but knowing your worth and stepping into that, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah. Mic drop.
Mic drop. That's right. So if you guys want more, sign up for that workshop that we're doing. And we're going to start talking about some of these money doubts that are keeping you in that struggle that you might not even be aware of, but that we need to start working on. So the workshop is free, but you still should show up for it because we've got a ton of stuff that we're going to be talking about and giving away. So don't miss it. You can go to the link in the show notes for that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you back here next week.